This video is sponsored by Eggtart Inc., who made the game Metal Suit's Counterattack, which is what this video is about. You can find a link to the game in the pinned comment and in the description. With that out of the way, let's begin the video. In Metal Suit's Counterattack, you are an old ex-war hero who gets blown up with his dog, but then you get reborn as a cyborg who goes and murders the entire species of people who killed you all over the universe. So like John Wick on an intergalactic scale. Speed and chaos are the two words that I think best describe the gameplay of Metal Suits. You're running through levels, destroying enemies and the environment, while every enemy has the potential to kill you just as fast. In terms of your abilities, there are 3 moves you can perform: your weapon attack, your melee, and your special. You start out just having a pistol for your weapon and grenades as your special, but throughout each level you can find these crates that drop suit upgrades, giving you different weapons and specials. There is a huge variety here. You have the basic Gatling gun that fires fast and unleashes this Kamehameha as its special, the flamethrower which creates this huge ball of fire around you, destroying everything, the fists where the special just makes you temporarily invincible, Outlaw gives you a shotgun with a special that just destroys everything in front of you, and you can't forget the laser saber which does this as its special attack. The upgrades you find in the crates aren't permanent and have durability, which slowly goes down as you attack with them and goes down a lot if you get hit by an enemy. If it runs out, you're back to the default weapons, and getting hit like this causes you to die, losing you a life. Think of it like Mario, but with guns. Even though the suit you receive from breaking a crate is random, they've done a really good job at making it feel like every single enemy encounter was designed with every suit in mind. There are suits that I'm happier to see than others, but it never really feels like one suit is massively better or worse than all the others, despite them all having vastly different mechanics. And no matter what, I never felt like a specific encounter was unfair because I got unlucky on a suit drop. When it comes to the movement and flow of Metal Suits, the game prioritizes speed over everything else, but it never lets that get in the way of the rest of its gameplay. You're constantly given puzzles that can be solved quickly, and if they can't, there's always other stuff going on to keep you interested. Take this portal puzzle for instance. Based on every game ever made, this should suck. It's a bunch of random doors and only one of them is the right answer. But each portal has something completely different behind them, and even if you pick the wrong one, you'll still get some kind of reward. And you just forget about the fact that this is one of those puzzles, and as soon as you've solved it, it shoots you on to the next thing. The levels can be huge, but there was never a point in the game where I got lost. The path you go on each map is admittedly linear, but it's not one long track you follow. It's more like you're going through tubes that connect to massive open rooms, which ultimately puts you in another tube and repeats the process until you've completed the level. To make sure the chaos of the game isn't unbearable, Metal Suits never shows its full hand until it knows you're ready for it. I can't deny that the first stage of the game wasn't very impressive, but that's just because it's pretty much a gate holding back all of the game's mechanics. Each stage adds a ton of new gameplay elements, and once you've gotten the hang of the new mechanics, it brings a whole bunch of fresh ones in, so you never get tired of seeing the same old things over and over again. And it somehow manages to achieve this without ever feeling too overwhelming. It's chaotic, yes, but it never feels too chaotic. I will say that the game is tough. The platforming is punishing if you end up failing, and it's common to enter rooms only to be ambushed by a horde of enemies. The levels get progressively longer and longer as you go through the game, which can really put on the pressure when you're on your last life and don't have a suit upgrade. And dying when you're right near the end of a level is just devastating. I played through the game on normal difficulty, and honestly, that was challenging enough for me. Thankfully, if you're not quite feeling up to the challenge, there is an easy difficulty, which has recently received a balance change in the new update, which should be out when this video releases. In terms of replayability, each level is filled with secrets and collectibles, giving you a lot to search for if you want to get that 100% completion, which the game is constantly taunting you with. You also have challenge levels, which come in the form of these moons and are really difficult. And on top of the story mode, the game is also releasing a boss rush mode in the new update called the Overdrive Gauntlet, with 4 difficulties where you fight every boss back to back with random suit upgrades in between. The actual story that goes along with the story mode never really feels too involved. The characters aren't really fleshed out that much and mainly just exist to explain mechanics and small parts of the plot, and during moments where the characters are actually talking with one another, the dialogue doesn't feel very natural. The game does give you reasons as to why you're going to each planet, but to be perfectly honest, I just kinda skipped that part. This is one of those games like Super Meat Boy where the story is pretty much irrelevant. I mean, just look at how quick this intro is. Now, as for the art in the game, I do think it is really good. Every chapter you go to has vastly different environments from the last. The areas are defined by the unique tile sets that make up the levels and these giant, detailed, animated backgrounds. One moment you're in some Terraria Crimson hellscape, next you're climbing on the outside of these massive pyramids, and then you're sliding down zip lines in the jungle. They've done a great job at solidifying the feel of each world and really making them unique from one another. The animations and effects are just awesome. Every enemy, character, and weapon has so much detail put into their sprites, especially the bosses, man. The special abilities of your suits are these huge visual spectacles that just steal everyone else's thunder, and the illustrated designs of each character and boss just reek of the early 2000s, but in a good way. It can be rough around the edges, but I feel like that's exactly what the game was going for, and it wears that roughness with pride. In the best possible way, this game feels like a flash game from my childhood. I kept getting reminded of games like Cactus McCoy, Intrusion, Final Ninja, and so many other classics while playing this game, except it's like the definitive edition of all of them. It doesn't reinvent the wheel with new mechanics, it remasters the wheel we already have. It's smooth, it's slick, with absolutely no filler. It's got a good art style and great sprite work, fun weapons, and a solid soundtrack to back it all up. The story is so simplistic, but it just doesn't matter. In fact, I felt like the inclusion of a less important story just made the game better. I genuinely recommend this game if you're looking for a solid run and gun to play. And now that the game's price has been permanently halved from $20 down to $10 and there's currently a 30% sale, I recommend it even more. It can be a pretty big challenge, but the amount of effort they put in to make the game as fun as possible despite the difficulty makes it all worth it. Overall, I give Metal Suit's Counterattack a 7 out of 10. I don't know when I started doing scores, but we're doing them now. If you want to get the game for yourself, you can use my link in the description or pinned comment. Thanks again to Egg Tart for sponsoring this video, and I'll see you all in the next one. Thanks for watching.